Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. When I immigrated to the United States of America, one of the advices I received from friends and people around where I asked and I was provided was you can mess around here and there. You can do this, you can't do this, you should do this, you shouldn't do this. But one thing that I was told and clear, like a big warning, was the U.S. government can be flexible here and there, but never, never, never mess with the IRS. IRS is the Internal Revenue Services. That's the ones who take your taxes from you. Never. They said, well, they can let you slide here, they can let you slide there, but never try to cross the IRS. Never did, but I know why. Because you don't mess with money. Money, you can mess with this and that, but no money. So the same thing is in your international affairs. You can mess up with a statement here, do this, blah, blah, blah. Never with the country's money. If the country has the power to smack you, they will destroy you. Now, there's a big, I think it's a big thievery that's occurring right now, and there is the free world, free countries that had the legitimacy and had the freedom, and that was one reason why a lot of countries invested in West and kept their money in the West. Now it was that you are sure that your money is protected, your properties, your assets that you have in United States of America or in the West. Not anymore. The Americans now are, I think, engaged in a clear looting activity, which is freezing another country's money, and not only freezing and property, how do you call them, assets, not only about 300 billion, but also deciding to use them wherever they feel fit. Now, I think this is really, really, really awful, however you want to turn it. However you want to turn it. Why? Because there's not you, how should I put it? You're not the judge. That money was given to you, right? The assets invested in you, and you decide unilaterally that you want to punish someone for something else, and you are in charge of that. And you decide how you're going to spend that person's money. This is like you get in a fight with your neighbor. Let's say you start, you attack. Let's put the worst case scenario. You just want to take something from that guy and you go over there and start beating him. And then the bank, one of the banks that you have the money, is going to freeze your assets, your money that you have in the bank because of you attacking and fighting that guy. And that bank not only freezes your money, that means you can't use them or anything like that, you're going to spend your money because they don't like what you're doing with the neighbor, which is none of their business, but somehow it is their business. So however you would turn it, first you don't have the authority, moral authority whatsoever, and then you don't have the legal authority. It's however you want to turn it, this is garbage. And when it happened to other countries that have frozen assets, I was like, that's very, you have nothing to do. If you're at war, I understand the Ukrainians to freeze whatever the Russians. I understand that one. But other countries, Russia said it will retaliate. So let me show you here a few weasel moves that these guys are trying to do. Remember, when this administration that represents you and I, if you're a US citizen, when they're going to do that, or your country, wherever you're going to be, Germany or Canada or countries that froze the Russian assets, that's the government making the decision in your name. The Russians then are going to call, oh, Canada did this, United States did this, Germany did this. They're not going to say, well, the Biden administration, idiot Trudeau's administration, or Scholz administration. No. So then when you're going to travel somewhere, you're going to be tangled in some garbage because of the decisions these guys made in the name of your country. So that's why when they give you a warning, don't travel to these countries, it's not because you did something. It's not that because those guys have something with you. They have something with someone that hurts them and you voted for. And you are part of it. And some people are not so sophisticated to say, and I mean, sophistication, the bottom. I'm not saying you have to be, like, oh, wait a second, it was the US government that did it. It was not Jimmy at, in Cancun. let's get Jimmy in Cancun. No, it's not going to be like that, right? They're going to be, oh, that's an American. I don't like Americans. Americans imposed this and froze our assets. I'm going to take care of Jimmy. Smack his teeth out. And then you say, what's wrong? I hate Russians. Why do you hate Russians? Because your government did something to it without being involved in the fight. They just involved themselves in the middle of it. So let's look at this article here. The New Voice of Ukraine, this is from December 21st. I'm going to take it a little bit chronologically. White House pushing for plan to seize Russia's frozen 300 billion. To seize. Okay, this is in 23. So they're pushing to seize. They seize and to spend. Next one, Business Insider. Biden is eyeing using $300 billion in frozen Russian assets to help Ukraine. Who the fuck are you to take someone else's money and use it to someone else? Who are you? Who gave you this authority? Under what kind of legal authority you can you do this? Are you United Nations? Are you involved in a war, a declared war with Russia? You can expand it from this to something else. If you are allowing yourself the legitimacy, the legality of doing such a thing, you can do many other things. You can even start saying, I have the right to bomb Moscow, but Moscow has no right to bomb me because Moscow is bad. And what are you going to do? I mean, so idiotic that, remember, and these things could be turned against you, my friends. So you might be supporting this because you're someone else, which is a weasel move. But remember, if they can do it to them, they can do it to you. The same is with free speech. When these idiots are happy that, let's say, someone said something and got fired for saying something, that a male and a female or something like that, they're happy, they're idiots. Because the same government means that can do the same thing to you if they don't like something that you say. And then you're going to realize how idiotic you were celebrating that. Like a lot of people are just group masturbating right now when they hear Trump having legal problems. Oh, he's going to be barred. You could be next. Your guy next time could be barred again. And what are you going to do? Oh, if he's guilty, he should pay. Really? There's so many people guilty here and they are not even investigated. What are you talking about? In the government, former presidents attacked countries, committed war crimes. What's a war crime? Unilaterally, with an alliance, a pack of other guys acted illegally in bombarding Yugoslavia without the United Nations Security Council's approval. That's a war crime. You can't do that. But anyway, who was in charge? Blair? Was he? Cameron? No. What's his name? Clinton? So let's move to the next article here. Now, this is from Semaphore. This is, again, December 22nd. Can the West fund the Ukraine war using Moscow's money? So now, they're not only they did it, can they? They will make a logical argumentation here from Russia with love. Okay, so these guys don't understand from Semaphore, Matthias Hammer, or that could happen to him if he says something wrong. They can freeze their account and you're going to be starving economically. Because someone determined that you did something to your neighbor. Now I understand if that's a court of law determining that, a legitimate court determining, yes, as a punishment, Emil Kosman did something to the neighbor, he should go to jail. Or he should pay retribution, payments for that, for the damage occurred. But that is within a recognized forum, a recognized institution. Now the bank is not the recognized institution to dictate that my funds should be frozen and used for something else. They don't have the legitimacy. The same, United States has no legitimacy to freeze other countries' assets that has a problem with someone else, unless you introduce yourself. And if you do this, guess what? Other countries will see it. And then, who's going to lose? Let me show you. Ready? Here. Nobody's money safe in the West if Russia's assets used to fund Ukraine. So I think I would not, if I see that the bank does that to Gigi, I would not put my money over there because maybe the bank will have a problem with the color of my car, or will have a problem with how I cut my hair, or whatever, my sexual orientation. And then they will freeze my assets and use it for whatever. If they can do it like that, they can do it against me. For whatever reason, they determine they should not have the authority. So I think that's an abuse, I think, an abuse. And you want to punish them? Well, there are still rules. You have the right of self-defense, but you can't just, that has boundaries, you have a certain kind of behavior. You can't do everything because you're in a self-defense, including you know what I mean. You're the big guy, the other one is a small guy, and you are in self-defense, which could happen. But anyway, and here, another article. This is from Business Insider. This is from 2022, a year ago, March 23, so a year and a half ago, more than. Putin's foreign minister says freezing Russia's currency reserves was thievery, and that the Kremlin didn't expect such harsh sanctions. I don't think they're legitimate. That's my take on that. Now let's see what these guys are saying. US media reported on Thursday that the Biden administration was considering using the estimated $300 billion in Russian assets frozen in Western banks to fund the Kiev government. No authority to do that whatsoever. If the Biden says Putin has threatened severe consequences if the plan is put into action, who's going to affect those severe consequences? Do you think it's going to affect Biden, who's already dead? They just, resuscitate him for 15 minutes a day. Do you think he's going to be the guy who makes a decision in the White House? Do you think they will be affected? No, it's going to be you and I and other commoners. Let's put it this way. All right, that's all. We're going to be affected, and our children and so on. Do you think the Russians do not have the ability? And let's say, well, if the Russians are upping their game, because you don't always have to match it, because this is nothing, right? And then you up it here. You up it here. Who says I have to match it? I have to go here to really do to you what you did to me. You did this to me. Why should I come here? That means I don't do anything to you. No, I do this, so you can feel the pain of this. That's how I roll, at least. Or if you punch me once, I kick you 50 times. Why? Next time you cannot punch me again. Anyway, that's the way I roll, and I'm using that. If the Biden administration gets away with illegally using seized Russian assets to fund Ukraine, that would, and I'm quoting, basically nuke the entire Western financial system, journalist Nebusha Malik told Sputnik. And I'm quoting, I'm not exaggerating. I'm not using this person right here because it has authority. But I think it's logical what that person says. That's why I'm using him. Or her, I know. And I'm quoting, I'm not exaggerating. If they're allowing to do this, then nobody's money is safe in the West. Period. Full stop. End of story, said the Serbian-American journalist. End quote. And any country outside of the G7 or NATO would be certifiably insane to hold any of its foreign currency or reserves or any assets in the West where it's accessible to the US and its allies, because it would not be safe. They could make up any pretext to confiscate it. Now, do you think that I and the Serbian journalist are idiots? I don't think so. Even if you think so, I don't think so. For the reasons I explained for what? For 13 minutes and 19 seconds. Good luck with that. And the retaliatory moves that the Russians are planning, because they already planned that, obviously as a response, they're going to affect you and I. That's my problem. These guys use us as energy for their metrics garbage. They use our energy, which is work. That's what it is. They use our work that produces something and pays taxes for them to fund the military, to kick anybody in the teeth over there, to promote the interests of, not you, their guys in charge. The guys who have the media, the guys who give campaign donations, that's how they call it here, campaign donations to their politicians, that put forward the politicians they want you to vote for, and that's it. And they criminalize others or just push them to the side. And then when you go to the vote and say, hey, I have options in America. Yeah, who? 2 guys. Oh my God. Oh, I have 50. But out of those 50, there's no chance you're going to get anyone. Anyone can be put on a ballot. Has no, electoral college. They don't have electors in their states. So there's 0. What are you talking about? They're kept away. The game is one-party system with 2 twin brothers or sisters, siblings, let's be. Is that for V? Anyway, is that for V? So Is that what it is? Yeah, it's one party system, as I said, with two parties, with two names, two identical twins coming from the same parents, which are the donors. That's are the parents. And then you got one twin brother with a mustache or a goatee, and the other one without one. And this is called Democratic Party and Republican Party. And they fight with one another, but everything goes towards the left. Have you noticed this? Left meaning more power, bigger government. To the left, it almost everything. Free speech to the left. You can't speak. You speak less now than an American was able to speak, let's say, in 1812, or 1810, or 1840, or 1915. You can't speak. That means your freedom of speech. Go to work and say, I disagree with this garbage of perversity these guys are trying to push on us. Oh, what do you mean a man and a woman? And, go and say that at work. No, that's freedom of speech. Freedom of speech means that you can speak without consequences like that. I mean, there have limitations, legal limitations, threatening someone, instigating to violence. That's it. I can hate, I can say whatever I want, as long as I don't do it. Because we have a lot of thoughts. And I'm going to give you an example. Do you think that when you see a beautiful woman walking down the street, what are you going to think about? Oh, no. No. Oh, that's a beautiful woman. Can you do that? No, because if you would really say it, that's sexual harassment. If you're at work and see someone say, hey, I like the match of your, skirt with your shirt, or your dress looks very good, or your hair looks great, or I like your dangling earrings. Oh my God, sexual, unwanted, what the fuck is going on here? Now that's freedom of speech for you, right? You get spoken to, or maybe even sued or kicked out of your office. Is that what it is? And I'm not talking about other thoughts that we might have just going from she's an attractive woman. Without wanting, the things doesn't mean you're going to do it. It doesn't mean you're going to say, hey, baby doll, how about we do this? We used to do this when I was younger in a freer country. Oh, that's sexual harassment. Well, like this, if I look at you, could be sexual harassment. Anyway, my friends, just talking about this garbage. The problem here is we are going to have problems because of this guy's decision. We are going to have problems. And the Russians will retaliate. And they can. They can. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.